Did you know that when dog owners say to you that they can't afford your training, very rarely do they mean it's too expensive? If you feel like you struggle with cost objections too often in your dog training business, it can have a number of knock-on effects. The most important is that it can make you question whether you're charging too much for your services. In this video, you're going to learn what's actually going on when you get a price objection from a client, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what you should do about it. Not only is it going to allow you to make more money, but it will also allow you to get more dogs and owners over the line who really need it most. So what's actually occurring when a dog owner says to you that you're too expensive? Well, the first thing is, regardless of the reason why, you should celebrate. Because at least the owner is being much more honest than they potentially could have been. They could have lied to you and said, I need to go and talk to my wife. I need to get the holiday out the way first. Or we're going to wait until the dog gets a little bit older and see if it solves itself. But because they've been honest with you and told you that it's a pricing problem, it gives you the opportunity to do something about it. But here's the thing about price objections. What on the face of it looks really quite straightforward, they're telling you that they can't afford it, very often just isn't quite so simple. And the problem is, if you don't know how to deal with it, you run the risk of, after a number of times of it happening, you end up dropping your prices because you think that's where the issue is. And that would be a huge mistake. On a slight side tangent here, and I'll deal with this in another video, there's a huge difference between being overpriced and not being able to effectively convey and articulate compelling reasons for owners to purchase from you. Before we can get to the bottom of price objections and actually resolve the real thing that's holding people back, we need to understand what the true meaning is of what they've said to us. Because quite often when somebody says, I can't afford it, they don't actually mean that they don't have the money available. What they mean is they don't feel like what you're offering them is worth the price that you're asking for it. There's basically one of three things they could mean when they tell you they can't afford it or it's too expensive. The first thing they could mean is that they genuinely don't have the money available. The second is that they have the money available but they're struggling to justify the purchase. And the third is that they're simply not ready to commit to dog training. And the question that you need to ask them to find out which one of those three things it actually is this. When you say that it's too expensive, do you mean that you don't actually have the money available in the bank, or that you're just struggling to justify the cost? And whilst this question seems really direct, almost bordering on rude, you will find that your clients actually appreciate you being direct with them at this point. I've said this to thousands of dog owners and I've never had somebody take offence. But what I've always been able to do once I've asked it is take the information that they give me when they answer and then give them the right solution that they've been looking for. So if they tell me that they've genuinely not got the money, I can either downsell them into a cheaper product, recommend another trainer in the area who I know is good but charges less, or point them to the right online resources or books to give them the best chance of getting the result that they're looking for at a lower cost. If they tell me number two, they've got the money available but they're struggling to justify it, then we can take the conversation in a different direction and get them into a position where they can justify it. And third, if they're not ready yet, I can either create more urgency in them, or both of us can happily shake hands, walk in different directions, knowing that when the time is right, we're probably going to end up working together.